Hey everyone, my name is Justin and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we're doing a bit of a story time video because you guys seem to always enjoy these. I enjoy telling them and it's just generally a fun thing to do. Plus, it's hard to record an actual video right now because I have a lot of congestion going on still in the throat and the nose area, so every few, like, 20 or 30 seconds, I'm just having to constantly blow my nose or cough. It's pretty disgusting, and now you know that. So you're welcome. I'm happy you allowed me to share that with you. So today's story is going to be about my biggest crush in high school. Now, I went to two different high schools, so this will be about my biggest crush in my closing high school, like the last high school I went to, as opposed to the other one, just because I don't know. And there's a few reasons why I'm telling this story. One, I just happened to be thinking about it the other day, so I thought, why not make a story time about it, because it's kind of interesting, has a few twists and turns. And the other reason is that maybe some of you guys that are younger or that are in high school, and maybe you're a bit shy or nervous or a bit introverted like I am, maybe you can learn something from this and maybe like turn a crush into a girlfriend. I don't really know, man. There's possibilities. I don't know exactly what could happen, and I know for a lot of people, it takes like a very specific person to tell them to do something for them to finally do it. Like, you could be told from your friends and this, that, and the other to do one thing, but then if like your family member or someone who you're really close to, or maybe even a YouTuber says something very similar as to what they're saying, it'll actually impact you more and you might actually end up doing it because of that person telling you as opposed to these other people. And I'm not saying that you're going to do it because I said to do it or something like that. I'm not controlling it all. I'm saying that because that's happened to me. I've watched, these YouTubers and they make videos about these topics. I watched the video and even though other people have told me pretty much the same exact thing that I'm listening to in this video, I hear them say it and it kind of gets to me more because maybe it's a bit relatable. I don't really know, but it makes me look at it in a different point of view. So maybe that could happen in this video. I don't really know, but let's jump into it. So this is my junior year of high school. I think it was during the same time of my most embarrassing story ever with the whole backpack thing, which you guys can find that video in the top right. I believe you should be able to at the very least. And my very first class was English. It was in the morning. So I don't know if you guys are the same, but whenever I got to school, it took me like 3 classes to finally really get into my groove, to be awake, to really get going, you know what I mean? It takes me that long. So normally, whenever I get into school, I'm just hanging out with my friends, we're chilling, we're talking, and then I leave them to go to class, and I'm like a robot, I'm just going through the class, learning, writing notes, doing the test, whatever it may be, and then finally later on, I'm more talkative and more energetic. But generally, as I'm sure you know, I'm a much more introverted person. I'm very shy. I was especially really shy and nervous to talking to new people when I was younger, which is the exact opposite of my sister, which is kind of unfortunate for me. But that basically meant whenever I had like a really big crush, I would get really nervous, really shy, and like when I have the opportunity to talk to them, I would end up not doing it, which is something you really shouldn't do. But sometimes when you're just super introverted like I was, and maybe a few guys are as well, it can happen. The nerves get up to you and they get to you and you just chicken out, man. So going back, English was my very first class, and the girl that I had this huge crush on was in that class. Now, she was in none of my other classes whatsoever, but she had the cutest voice in the world, man. I was just infatuated with her in like all aspects of the word. So I had a huge crush on her. This lasted for a very long time, obviously. We sat on like the opposite diagonal sides of the room. So that normally meant, because of how the classroom was like situated, that she would be out of the door and pretty much gone with the cluster of people after the bell rang and the class was over, which then meant I wouldn't see her anymore for the rest of the day because we had no other classes together and I didn't eat lunch in the cafeteria. I ate lunch with my friends in a room, a teacher's room. That sounds weird. But one day, I don't know what was going on with me. I don't know what happened. I must have just slept so incredibly well, had a great shower, great breakfast, got to school without any traffic being in the way, hung out with all my friends. We had great laughs, good times, and got into class. I was energetic. I was happy. It was a good day in class, like easy test it may have been, or some easy studying. I'm not sure exactly what happened in the classroom itself, but either way, my confidence levels were just through the freaking roof, man. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe I just finally manned up to do something about it, man. But that day, the stars aligned, man. When the bell rang, she was, I guess, a little bit delayed to getting out the door, so we ended up walking out almost back to back. And we were walking the same way because the next class we had was in a similar direction. It just wasn't the same class, obviously. So as we almost got to the stairs, the same stairs, mind you, where my backpack fell that one time, it was those stairs. When we got there, we were literally walking. Who's following me on Twitch? I appreciate that. So I was here, she was here. We were walking in sync that way, and I was thinking to myself, and I was, I just looked to her and I said hi. And to me, that was crazy, right? Because I was such a shy and nervous person. I'm not as shy or nervous anymore. Like, YouTube has really helped, and all the business meetings, all that stuff has really helped a lot with that. But back in the day, to me, I was like, I'm insane. I did it, boys. I did it. So I said hi. And then she said hi back, and we kind of had, a relatively decent conversation. It was just like, how was the test, or how was the, I don't know, whatever I don't know what we talked about, man. That was a very long time ago. I'm turning 25 Sunday. God, I'm so old. But we were talking, I threw a few jokes out there like I do. She laughed a little bit, like, it's, you know what I mean? It worked out, and had a conversation. We said goodbye when we had to split ways when she went into class. I think she went into history class. I mean, that's the same teacher I had for history at a different, the next year rather, so I assume it was history. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter, but we said bye, and I was walking to my class. I was like, so proud of myself, man. I was a bit on a high horse the rest of the day. I was just super confident going on because we had a good conversation. And then nothing ever happened. I never had that confidence boost again. She never said anything back to me. I never said anything back to her. And it was, it sucked because, I finally, built up the courage to talk to my biggest crush I've ever had, I guess, in that school. I mean, probably my biggest crush ever, really. Like, I've had crushes all the time, obviously, but the other one at my other high school, I don't think it was as big as this one was. So I don't know why I just really fully chickened out, man. Maybe I was focused on other things. I don't know what happened, man. I dropped the ball, man. I really dropped the ball. So, unfortunately, I never spoke to her again. But at one point when I was leaving school, like school was over, the way I went was a very odd way, but for some reason she was there with a few friends on the outside, obviously. So you walk out, it's like kind of a side door, and I saw her actually smoking with a few of her other friends. And to me, that was like, whew, dodged a bullet, because I don't like people that smoke very much. But I've never smoked personally, ever. I don't plan to ever do it in my life. Bad experiences in terms of family with that kind of stuff, so I'm just not about that. I don't want to ever be in a relationship with someone who smokes. I mean, if you do, that's you, man. I'm not gonna like berate you about it if I'm friends with you. Just personally, I don't really like being around it as much. So in my mind, maybe to cope with the fact that I kind of chickened out after that one day, but also just generally knowing how I am with people and like smoking and things like that, I was like, well, that's fine. It's no big deal. I dodged a bullet there. But, the point of the story really is that if you have a really big crush and you're a really shy or nervous person, when I finally spoke to her, like, we actually had a good conversation. She wasn't like a really rude or mean person. She was a very nice person. And we had laughs. We had a good conversation for that one conversation we had. So if you're the same way as I was, just one day, man, if things are going well for you, if you happen to be near that person, talk to them. For me, again, it was really hard because I'd never spoken to her before. All the other friends who were female that I had in the past, I either was forced to talk to them via like a school project, or they were a friend of a friend, but I never really just straight up went up to a random girl and started the conversation, became friends that way. It never really happened like that for me personally. So that was a huge thing for me, and if you guys are in the same boat, I would really recommend giving it a shot, because I mean, the worst that can happen is you embarrass yourself, which is pretty bad, but after school, it's like not a big deal at all. Like, no one really cares at that point. She could just not want to talk to you, and if that's the case, then at least you know where you stand. You can no longer have that crush and move on to a new girl to have a crush on, or a new guy if you're a girl watching this and you have a similar experience. And I don't know, my motto in this point in life is to just, know where you stand with people. Like, that's a very big part of life, and especially for my life, I just like knowing where I stand with people. Like, are we friends? Are we acquaintances? Do I like you? Do you like me? I just like knowing, because life is really too short And I joked about turning 25 and then I'm old earlier in this video, but like, I mean, I'm 25, man. That's a quarter of the way to 100. So life is much too short to wait like 2 or 3 or 5 years to finally know if you like someone. And I know in certain situations that's how it happens. And sometimes it's really good to be friends before you date or whatever it may be. But that's a different topic. That's a totally different story for another time. But that's the story, man. Happened. I'm really proud of myself that I did actually, you know, man up and actually speak to her. This would have been a very different story had I never done that. I probably wouldn't have made the story because it would have been like, yeah, had a crush, she was cute, never spoke to her. It would have been a bad story. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the story in a nutshell. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and of course, share this video around. I'd highly appreciate that, guys. We're trying to revive the channel back, kind of, you know, get it going for the summer again. That'd be nice, obviously. And if you guys have had any similar experiences to that story or something even slightly the same, definitely drop a comment down below. If you guys suffer a little bit from being really shy and really nervous, where you can't talk to people that you want to talk to sometimes, you know, let us know. I'm sure I have a very nice community, and I'm sure they could help you if they've experienced similar things. Of course, I'll be monitoring the comments, going down there, talking to you guys as well. And we're gonna have a nice, fun little time. And if you guys have any other stories you'd like to hear, if I've got a story that you comment down that is similar, I can tell it as well. I've already got one other story in mind I would like to tell, but I don't want to tell you guys because of, well, I don't want to like build up the hype and then it may not happen. It's a whole thing. So yeah, other than that, I will talk to you all later. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.